I want to bring in Matt Carpenter with FRC Action, who's also working. Action is working. That's our kind of our political arm at the Family Research Council, working on this issue. And there's ways to talk about this, and there's ways not to talk about it in terms of communicating the message of the sanctity of human life. Matt, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Great to be back with you, Tony. Thanks for having me.
So you've done extensive polling on the issue, and people want to protect unborn children. When the issue is framed this way, what have we learned?
So, Tony, last year, right before the Dobbs decision, we put a poll in the field where we asked 1,000 American registered voters, would you support or oppose legislation to protect an unborn child at the point at which you can detect a fetal heartbeat? And what we found was 47% of those polled said that they would support such a bill, and only 33% opposed that bill. Now, Tony, when we asked a similar question, although instead of saying protect an unborn child, we asked ban abortion at that same time when a child's heartbeat can be detected, we found only 40% would support a piece of legislation framed that way, and we actually found 42% opposed it. So, Tony, that's a 16-point swing just on framing that bill differently. Instead of protecting the unborn child, if you start talking about banning abortion, you start to see voters move on that issue.
So Matt, that explains why the media approaches it this way from a standpoint of describing the Republicans' position as wanting to ban abortion. And so Republicans, there's like the deer in the headlights. They're like, ooh. And instead of turning around and saying, no, I want to protect unborn children, children who have a heartbeat, children who are sucking their thumb in their mother's womb. What's extreme about that? Where will you draw the line? I mean, that's what they should be doing.
Right. And we did hear from Ronna McDaniel earlier talking about going on offense and noting that the last cycle and even in the most recent Wisconsin State Supreme Court election, we saw Republican candidates vastly outspent on this issue on the airwaves. In fact, many of them didn't even mention it at all in their campaigns. And so that does leave a void in the electorate's mind. And it's no surprise then that pro-abortion candidates would then take that opportunity to shape the debate and to move voters in the middle on this. What we did find in our polling, Tony, is there is about 1/5 of voters, 20%, are unsure on this issue. And so those are people who are going and they're filling out ballots and they're not sure on this issue for some reason. Those are people who can be influenced by what's on the waves. And so if you're a pro-life candidate and you're running for election, you have to talk about this issue. It's just too important to not mention.
Right, absolutely. I mean, this is we've got to do the work of changing hearts and minds, and we continue to talk about it as we have for 50 years about the humanity of the unborn. Now is not a time to step back or shrink back or be silent. Matt Carpenter, always great to see you. Thanks so much for taking time to drop in and visit with us.
Thanks for having me, Tony.